Hello, listeners, and welcome to episode 26 of the Avocado Gamescast, the Avocado's gaming podcast. I'm Merve, your friendly neighborhood gamer, and today we have a great episode lined up for you. We're going to play Video Game Doctor and try to fix some games that aren't quite up to snuff. But first, let's meet the other folks who are here with me today. First up, he's our resident, but reluctant, Sonic superfan. It's BannerThief.
Hello, hello, hello.
Rumor has it he had a joystick in the womb. It's Ninjaneer.
And he has advantage for life.
Yeah. He's got a Joy-Con stapled to each arm. It's Otakunomike.
Hey, hey.
And finally, he's been waging a war against intellectual pursuits since 1903. It's Science is Bad.
I'm a 100-year-old doctor. Hello. My KD ratio is incredible.
Yeah, I think doctors are the one kind of people whom you don't want to have a high KD ratio.
Well, I'm 100 years old. Like, what you gonna do?
Yeah,
That
there was
affect
that
the
whole
ratio.
there was that whole time with polio.
Did you ever hear about that surgeon who killed 3 people during one surgery?
Yes, fantastic stuff. Like,
I'm sorry, what?
Was he just like shooting the nurses? What was he
No,
doing?
His patient died, but he had to saw some things off, and he accidentally sliced a nurse, and she died. And I believe someone else got whooped up into that thing and also died. So he had he had 3 people dead from one operation.
yeah, one guy died from heart attack that was watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, die from the shock of seeing the nurse get sliced?
Yes.
I think so.
Triple kill.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Yeah, I did it.
I only need 2 more for my drone.
Kill
Tear and
cam.
rip and tear.
Yeah, so let's not kill anybody else today. Yet.
That's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda. There's no killing on the agenda. There was a
Again,
podcast a
loose
while
agenda,
ago where
though.
we...
One second. I thought I saw something in... Oh, no, sorry, my bad. No, I'm my mistake.
Yeah.
Damn it! I should have read this before.
I think a while ago we said we were going to try to kill the personification of Xbox. I don't know what happened to that.
No.
But in any case, guys, guess what arrived for me in the mail yesterday?
Was
Your
it Persona
virtual
5
wallet.
Golden Edition?
Human head.
The Super NES thing they're doing.
Wait, that's not out until October, I believe, or the end
Near
of September.
Automata 2.
And end of September.
Automata 2.
Oh my god! That's cool.
I have a Nintendo Switch now, guys.
Awesome.
I am the proud
Hey.
owner of a Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo saw fit to give you one.
Yeah.
I actually keep seeing those in the store, and I keep not buying them because I'm waiting for Fire Emblem Warriors and Mario Odyssey.
Oh, so you preemptively stapled the Joy-Cons to your arm,
Yes.
waiting until it comes
So
out.
So
Okay.
did Nintendo listen to the podcast and said, we gotta get one of them at least equipped with our console?
Yeah, so finally they must have sent me one just for
Yeah.
free because this podcast is
Yeah.
so popular.
Exactly, yes.
No, I bought the bundle with Mario Rabbids, and
Cool.
it's surprisingly pretty good. Well,
Yeah.
not surprisingly, because we now know with the reviews that came out saying it was good, it actually turned out to be good. What I'm surprised at is that it's a really good-looking game.
Oh, interesting.
I am
Yeah.
thoroughly entertained by the notion that game has been a system seller.
Yeah.
Because it has. I'm like, you guys are buying a granted, it's not that expensive of a console, but still, you guys are spending this much money for a console to play a game with Mario and Rabbids in it, which should
Yeah,
be
but
the first thing ever.
I'm thinking a lot of that might be they're buying it for Mario Rabbids now, but they know there's stuff like Mario Odyssey and Metroid coming out later. They're just getting the Switches now, and Mario Rabbids is the best current game on it.
Yeah, there's that, but it's like I never would have figured that would be like, well, you know what? I'm gonna buy my Switch now because Mario Rabbids is out instead of waiting until Mario Odyssey comes out, which would usually be what would happen.
Yeah, but think about how often like Mario actually interacts with like Western games. Like this is a crossover that I don't think it's like it's a very interesting one. Like it's not very often that we have like Nintendo actually making crossovers with Ubisoft or whatever, or Activision or any other Western developer. So this kind of neat, interesting.
Yeah, that's neat in practice, but
And it's also
on the
a good
other
game,
hand,
so you know.
on the other hand, it is still Rabbids.
Yeah, like in
Yeah.
so yeah, in theory you'd think it would be awful.
Yeah.
It actually turns out pretty good. And as Otakunomike said, I bought this because Super Mario Odyssey and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are coming down the pipeline. I figured might as well buy one now because it's going to be super hard to get one once Super Mario Odyssey comes out. And I'm intrigued by this game anyway. I like the sort of combat portions of XCOM. I didn't like the metagame. So if I can get something that strips out the metagame and keeps the combat portions of XCOM, I'm going to be pretty happy. And so far I've enjoyed it. It is a little bit strategically a little bit easier than XCOM, I'd say. Like, you have fewer units to manage. The numbers are a lot easier. It's either 50% or 100% chance to shoot something or 0. Nothing like, a 35% chance.
Be fucked if it was harder than XCOM.
Oh, and in some places it gets a little bit harder than XCOM. Or I should say a little bit more complicated because there's more you can do on each turn.
Yeah,
So
I've heard that the movement options get ridiculous.
Yeah, there's some. If you plan out your movement correctly, you can, on some turns, move from one end of the map to the other by exploiting these sort of warp pipes and other features of the map. You can attack somebody on one side of the map by dashing through them, go through a warp pipe, then come out on the other side of the map on higher ground, and then attack another enemy from behind, or do something like that. It gets pretty complicated and sophisticated, what you can do on each turn.
I'd say one thing rabbits are good for is being annoying enemies that you want to kill.
Oh, for sure. I'd say I like everything about this game except the rabbits.
Yeah, I hear that one of the main complaints is the fact that they cannot have a team without rabbits.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, it's all like
Controversies strikes again.
Yeah. They're more like a low-level irritation. They're not like minions, which I just...
Yeah.
Like, they make my
they're
blood
like
boil
minions.
because of overexposure. If rabbits had become as popular as minions, I think I'd hate them even more.
No way. Minions already took that spot, and the rabbits existed before minions, and they
That's
didn't
true.
caught
Minions
on.
are like rip-off rabbits.
Yeah. It's not complicated to come up with this shit. So it's not like they ripped off this thing. I think it just came organically out of them.
It's like the answer to the question, what would happen if we turned rabbits into banana-flavored pills?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And less screaming from the minions, I think, and more like nonsense words.
Yeah, that's true. It's the first time I'd ever wanted to hear more screaming in my life.
Oh god.
Friggin' Despicable Me too.
I can hear them scream when I murder them.
Now, we're saving the murder for the end of the podcast. So
Okay.
yeah, Mario
One
plus
of us
rabbits
will be murdered.
Yeah, Mario plus rabbits.
Won't be
pretty good.
me.
Well, shit.
All right, what have the rest of you guys been playing?
Well, I've been playing only 2 games, and I don't know which one I should be talking about. Okay, so I can talk about Everybody's Golf, I guess, because the second game I play is Rocksmith, which is not much to talk about. That's a guitar learning tool, basically. So Everybody's Golf, I've been playing it for since it came out, because I really like the franchise and I like golf games. And it's fun. It's more arcadey than your usual golf games that are like Tiger Woods and other of the type. And it has some weird, dumb customization options for players. And it teaches you, like, you have, by beating, your opponents, you learn to swim and to like drive a car and to fish and all kinds of weird options that are exist in the game for no reason at all. It's fun, and I'm having a blast with it. It's like I was thinking about buying Destiny 2, but I thought, I just don't like. it's a game that you really have to like invest a lot of time in to like get anything, and everybody's golf is like minimal time investment. You can like get a good match out of it, like for like you go for half an hour and you get a reasonable amount of stuff done in the game. So it's fun. I'm having fun with it, but there's not much to say about it except for that it's good.
So what you're saying is everybody's golf is Frog Fractions 4.
You know, it comes very close to that. It's very strange in some regards. Like it has these open world fields that you can run around on, and you can like interact with some things, and some items are like laid down here and there. It's a very strange thing.
The only thing it sounds like this game is missing is a first-person shooter segment. Because it sounds like everything else is in this game.
Where you just fire a golf ball cannon.
Yeah.
If this golf game is for everybody, why don't I have it?
You can have it. It's for everybody, but it's for money. So it's like it's like candy. Everybody can buy candy, but if you don't have money, then no candy for you. I'm sorry, Banner.
Also, BannerThief is a Kingdom Hearts nobody. So
there you go, Banner. Some harsh words.
You need to find your heart in order to be somebody.
I'm sorry, Banner. I think Ninja just spelled it out for you here.
I'm shaking my head. Plays really well to the audience.
Yeah.
You have to brush your head against the microphone for it.
So
You need to hear it scrape.
Yes.
This is a pretty this is a franchise, right? That they've been
Yes,
running
everybody's
for a while.
golf. Yeah. It's a good franchise. Every game in the franchise had something interesting going for it. This is a more open version of these games, and like as I said, it's really cool to have like so many customization options. Like for your like clothes, like there's some crazy ways to customize your model, and like you can have some crazy. But there's some microtransactions in the game. That's the only bad thing about it. But it's mostly for like cosmetic stuff, so I don't give a shit.
You know what?
And
sorry, go ahead.
No, please. I just want to say I have yet to try online battle because I wanted to get good at the game before I descend into online competition.
Okay, so the reason I didn't know this was a franchise, I'm looking this up right now, is because in North America it's called Hot Shots Golf up until the latest release, so it's called Everybody's Golf.
Wait, this is Hot Shots Golf?
Yeah,
it's
called
always
Everybody's Golf in Europe.
Yeah,
where
and in
Science
Japan.
Bad is.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a new Hot Shots Golf.
Yeah,
I
it's
might
awesome.
actually buy that because I
it's
love
really
Hot Shots
good.
Golf.
Yeah, it's really good. You should buy it. Like even if you don't like golf, it's as simple as Mario Golf.
Yeah.
But it has just a little bit more depth if you're looking for it, more depth than Mario Golf. So I'd recommend you check it out if you.
Yeah, I'll
you
never
ever
play
like
the online because I still don't even have PSN. But I'll play that shit like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd wait for like I'm a fan, so I bought it. But if you ever see it on like a sale, I think you should go for it.
Yeah, I might put that on my list. Too bad they're like Sony exclusive, but sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had this confused for a second with Golf Story, which isn't even out yet.
No, I have no idea what Golf Story is.
Is that anything like that fishing game that's supposed to be like a first person, whatever, like Fishing World or something?
Oh,
It's a sequel
like
to Her Story.
It's an RPG. It's I wish it were like Horror Story because I really like that game. It's actually like it's an RPG where instead of combat you golf.
Is it like that MMO golf that was out a few years ago?
I don't think so. This is more like pixelish art. Like it looks like Stardew Valley.
MMO Golf?
Yes,
What
there was an
the
MMO
heck?
golf game from like 4 or 5 years ago.
It was called
Like-
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Was the world just a giant golf course or something?
Be great.
Like what? If you
Oh,
like
Winning
MMO
Putt?
Golf? Are there
Wait, no, that's still in
raids?
beta right now. It's called there's an MMO called Winning Putt, but I don't think it's
No, it's not that. It's like Panya Golf or something.
Panga. Okay, I
Panga.
found that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Panga is a
you gotta
3D
reach-
golf themed
You
MMO.
gotta reach level 50 to unlock a golf cart.
Yeah. It's your
Okay,
mom.
I go to the website for this, and the first thing I see is the bikini waifu. Like, how did that?
Well,
That's a game for me.
that's exactly how gaming marketing works.
Me and Banner have a purple right now.
Apparently, it's also been shut down.
Aw,
Oh, God
shit.
damn it.
None of these people. Why? Okay, I'm going on the official website now. There's this. There are two girls dressed in gothic Lolita outfits, which makes no sense because that's not what you golf in.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where we're
I have
finding
my-
fault with this?
I have my Gothic Lolita outfit ready for the golf course this weekend. So if anyone wants to join me in there,
I mean, there's also a
Gothic
boy
Lolita
who's also
outfit.
in sort of a gothic butler-ish outfit. I don't really know
No,
how to
I have
explain
my
it.
Gothic Lolita outfit. I'm sorry.
Okay, this is.
I feel more comfortable in that one.
Yeah, in any case, Panga has been shut down. It's no longer operating. So I guess
Alright.
you're going to have to put all your golf MMO hopes in winning putt whenever it comes
Oh.
out.
Rip in peace.
Nah, yeah, just buy everybody's golf, please. don't do any of that.
Or wait for Golf Story to come out, which
Yeah,
has
golf
no real,
story.
which I don't think has any real golf in it, but we'll see how
Yeah.
that turns out. Banner, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple of things. I think the big one I've been playing recently would probably be either a cross between Death Cargo, which is a PC fighting game that was technically never released. It is a Russian. It is from a company that specializes in ultra gory, low budget horror films. And this game was originally announced. They said it was coming out, and then quietly just kind of pulled it. They'd said nothing about it. It is an FMV fighting game with like proper ripped FMV sprites and everything, based in a futuristic world in which like crazy monsters are being used to kill each other, and you play a guy who had some of them released. Some death cargo was stranded on overcrowded, overpopulated Earth, and you have to go and get them back by murdering them.
I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, it's a weird game. Like I said, it was officially never released. The company is apparently so embarrassed by it that they came out to the people who pre-ordered and said, "No, we're going to release a real game. It's going to come out in 2017. It's called Gore Breaker.
Yeah.
We promise it'll be better."
Is it
Gore
a
breaker.
side scroller brawler kind of like
No,
Double
it is a fighting
Ooh.
game.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a one-on-one fighting game.
Oh, I'm looking at GIFs of this right now, and it looks... I don't know how to describe it.
It's fucking horrible.
And
Could you
and the
could you
game
s-
has fatalities in it, which
Of course
does.
it
you
does.
can tell that they were on a massive budget because all the fatalities are FMVs, and every time they happen, a giant like tube comes down because all the fatalities have to take place in the exact same room.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Fantastic.
God.
What's the name of the game again?
Death
Death
Cargo.
Cargo. The other thing
Death
I've been playing that most people would have actually heard of is The Escapist 2.
Oh yeah, that one.
which is a fun little pixel arty kind of game, kind of isometric. You play a person who is trying to break out of prison.
Yes.
You're trying to have your Shawshank Redemption moment. Like it's got a lot more mechanical depth than the first one, which I thought was a little lacking. It's much better. You can kind of move between floors now. There's a lot more options you have available to you. The one hang up I kind of have about it is that it gives you way too much freedom, like far more than an actual prison would, so it never quite feels satisfying when I'm able to break out of the routines.
Okay, so on what level you are right now? Which level?
I'm on a level where I'm on a train driving to the prison, and I am told that once I get to the prison, I will not get out, so I need to escape from this train.
Right. I've heard that like later levels are a little bit more strict.
Yeah, I can see like you have to play the game to unlock all, but I can tell the last level is like a futuristic prison, like Lockout featuring Guy
Yeah,
Pearce.
it's like face-off prison.
Yeah, it's a big face-off prison in space, and some of them look pretty crazy.
Space off prison.
Space off.
Yeah, so the game's a lot of fun. It's worth picking up. I think it's like $20 on GOG. You can pick it up for pretty big. It's got a lot of stuff there, and you can also play multiplayer.
Yeah. Weird. Multiplayer prison escape. Space Off would be a good name for a Face Off sequel.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do Space Off in space.
Yeah. Who would change
Start-
their faces though? Yeah.
Well, this time we used the kid that was left over from the first movie. So the kid that was like Nicolas Cage's kid, but he got adopted by he'll be the one that has his face taken off by somebody else. I can't remember who else would it be.
I mean, if we,
John Travolta again. Oh God.
I mean, if they
I
were
don't want
making,
his face. I don't want his face.
if they were making Face Off again, it would be Sam Worthington and Jai Courtney.
That's
Oh,
How
same
could you
guy.
tell
That
when
was-
something happened?
Yeah. So it's like Prison Break, but with Face Off.
See, I only know Face Off as that Sci-Fi Network makeup show.
Oh,
Which
that
is a really good show.
yes.
Oh, really?
yeah,
I know that. I only
they
know the
do some
name.
crazy shit in that.
All right, so Ninja, what have you been playing?
Well, as far as what I've been playing, actually hasn't been too much. Like I've been tooling around in Absolver because I actually beat the main game, so I'm just going around trying to get moves for the stagger style.
Absolver's super cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. How much
yeah,
it took you to? How long? Was it?
I played that game for 24 hours over a 3-day weekend, so got that done.
What?
Oh, wow.
And then I've been working on a little project because I'm trying to do a little Twitch streamy thing for my birthday on Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to play like the original NES TMNT.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm planning
I'm
to do
sorry.
that. But yeah, I know on my birthday I'm going to torture myself. But
Nice. Right.
It's a
the
gift to
main
us
thing,
all.
the main thing I've been doing is just like basically absorbing as much information as I can on Marvel Infinite because that comes out next week.
Oh yeah.
So
it's not looking very hot for me. Like it's
see,
not...
that's the thing. I am a lab rat when it comes to fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
So I see the mechanics, regardless of how bad the game may look, and regardless of what everybody might think of that roster, because I have some problems. I have some major problems with that roster because there's at least about 5 people that should not even be there.
And
Chris,
there's like X-Men
and Spencer.
missing. Like,
yeah,
what
there's
the
X-Men
fuck?
missing, but I understand that part.
Yeah, I get it.
That's
I get
because
it.
of the Fox
That's in the
license.
narrative for
Yeah,
over a year now. So
Yeah, it's
but-
a bummer though.
there's literally people on the Capcom side that should not be there.
But who would you put on the Capcom side? Like, there's
you
not much
you
shit
could-
on.
You could replace Chris with Leon and get
Yeah,
rid of
Leon
Frank
would
West
be-
because of that. You could get rid of Arthur, and if you still want to stay with the Ghouls and Ghosts, you could go with Maximo instead, or you could do
Eh.
something else.
I
you
mean,
could-
Arthur is more recognizable than Maximo.
Yeah, but we had Arthur before, and he still sucked.
Yeah.
So if they had Maximo would at least be interesting because he has a better moveset.
But I just think Capcom has just so like it's limited. Like there's not that
It
much.
really isn't, because
Yeah.
there's a Shora that's still missing. He never got in. There's
Okay.
Gene from Godhand that never got in.
Mm.
There's a whole bunch of people that still haven't made their way in. They could have
Yeah,
characters from
but they
freaking
want-
Okami they could have thrown in.
That's true, and they did Okami last time. I
They
think.
did Amaterasu,
Yeah,
but they
Amaterasu.
still have a couple other characters that they could have used.
Oh, I don't know. They
So,
want to be
I'm
recognized.
looking at this
If you're
roster right
throwing in-
now.
If you're throwing in a Monster Hunter, you have
well,
other
Yeah.
things you can use.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
that's-
looking at this roster right now, and I recognized all of Marvel's characters except for one.
Mhm.
I recognize less than half of Capcom's characters.
Right,
Okay,
so it
tell us
shouldn't
now.
matter
Tell us
what
now.
you
Tell us
put in
now
there.
which one you do not recognize. This would be fun. Which ones do you
Marvel?
not recognize? Like
Of
from
the Marvel side or the Capcom side?
the Capcom side.
The ones it'll be faster to name the ones I do recognize.
Oh, okay.
Chris Redfield, Chun-Li,
Yeah.
Dante, Frank West, Mega Man X, and Ryu.
Right, so it
Okay.
wouldn't matter if you replaced some of them with
Mhm.
people
You don't
you don't
recognize
know.
Zero?
Wait, what's Zero from? Oh,
Mega
it's
Man
Mega
X.
I've never played a Mega,
Mega
Man
Man.
game.
Zero's not in that
Oh.
game. They have Mega Man X in there.
No,
Yeah,
it's,
Mega Man
it's
X.
showing both on the Wikipedia roster.
I
Is
think it's a
Yeah,
skin.
yeah,
It's
both.
a skin change. One, Zero and X. You can pick a skin.
I don't think we need Zero at all, but whatever.
Whatever, it's a skin change.
Yeah, skin changes are really easy for fighting games, right?
Yeah.
Like palette swaps.
Well, the
that's
thing is, they
less
already
labor.
technically did the opposite in Marvel 3 because
Mhm.
they had Zero skin change in the Mega Man X.
Ah.
So
So one second, Merv, you don't recognize any of the Resident Evil characters, any of that shit?
I've never played a Resident Evil game.
Oh, it's
So sad. You haven't lived.
Yeah, I haven't played some of the worst reviewed games of the past few years.
Oh, 4 is.
Oh,
Okay,
come on, at least-
seven is good. I've heard.
one
7
4
is
is one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time.
Okay, fair enough. 5 and 6 are the shit.
Yeah,
bombs.
Yeah,
5
5
and
and
6
6.
are.
5 is
yeah,
not
5 and 6 are
terrible.
the
6
garbage.
is awful.
6 blows.
Yeah.
6 is the worst.
I still can't agree that 5 is not terrible because that was horrible too.
I mean,
It's-
7
it-
is better than
5
5
kind
or
of
6.
inadvertently
I had some
really
good
racist.
times with. I had some good times with 5 because I was playing with my brother and we had
Yeah,
some fun.
it's a
but-
game that works well in co-op and does not
Yeah.
hold up at single player because it feels the world feels kind of empty.
Yes, and
And
6
I-
doesn't even hold up in co-op. So
And I think it's kind of ridiculous to have a Resident Evil game be multiplayer because that's not kind of the point.
yeah,
That's
weird.
like when they made the Alone in the Dark multiplayer because that kind of even undoes the name of the game of being alone in the dark.
It's their acknowledgement that they weren't even trying to scare anymore. They were just trying to make a fun action game.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
just
yes.
trying to shoot things now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
the
7
fourth
is
one,
7 is them returning to horror, and 7 works extremely well. It's one of my favorite games of the year so far.
Oh yeah, like
I
the
still
fourth
haven't
one was
finished it.
so ridiculous in its action sequences. Like
Yeah.
whatever.
But I think you can have some of that balance, right? You mostly go for tension, but then
Yeah.
you can release it every now and then with a big action set piece.
Yeah, with the big
Oh,
action set piece where you shoot an old man who is doing donuts in his muscle car in the garage.
Yeah, that was excellent.
That was
After-
pretty good.
after- After he basically crashed through every wall of his house to get to you.
Yep,
Yeah.
just destroying his own house to kill you. What
Yeah.
an asshole!
Yeah, he's kind of an
Also, what an
asshole.
idiot! Now he has no place to live.
He doesn't
Well-
care. That place was a mess anyway.
Yeah.
But
I
anyway,
don't even
getting
want
back.
to imagine when the last time anyone took a broom to that house.
Nah, I don't think anyone ever.
No.
Have you ever played a
cleaned
horror
that
game in a
house.
clean location?
That would be Cube. It's just a movie. Sorry.
I would
Like,
play a cube game.
Wait, that puzzle game?
Yeah.
You're calling?
I play a Cube game. What's up, people? Why aren't we getting a Cube game? That would be
Because
cool.
somebody doesn't have the rights. But anyway,
okay, if I can buy the right.
Oh, I
for
thought you were
Cube
talking
for
about the puzzle game,
$5.
QUBE.
Okay,
That's-
getting back to
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
That-
getting
that's not
back
a horror
to
game.
Marvel Infinite. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, as far as like half of those characters that Merv doesn't know, neither does most of the people that are playing this game anyway.
Yeah.
And even the people that play fighting games probably won't care
Mhm.
like if they don't know those characters as long as they play interesting. Because that's how Marvel's always worked. Like they brought in Captain Commando, and even though some people had played like the Captain Commando arcade game, most people were like, who? Or they brought in Hayato from Star Gladiator, and who's fucking played that game?
Yeah.
So
There's a game called Star Gladiator.
yes, there is. That game is basically Star Wars. But
Mhm.
So, I'm looking at the roster on Wikipedia, and it's listing a, I think, a very different roster. Because I have 3 people from Mega Man X, because Sigma's in there too, and
yes, Sigma
I
is
would-
in the game.
I wouldn't have
he
expected
actually-
that many Mega Man characters from Capcom, considering how much they hate the franchise. But
I think now they're just.
But Sigma is half of the boss too, so he's a playable character, and then the primary boss of the game is Ultron Sigma, which is a combination of Ultron and Sigma.
I think at this point they're
right.
just sticking Mega Man characters in there to stick it to Keiji Inafune.
Yeah,
They probably
I
are,
think.
because I heard they've been working on a new Mega Man game after Mighty Number 9 failed. So that I wouldn't be surprised.
That's definitely to stick it to Inafune.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love to hate the franchise. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they do. But-
Alright, so-
But they also had to make up for the last Marvel game where they had no Mega Man, and everybody said, hey, how about you guys actually put Mega Man in this game? And then they went and put the Days of Future Past stage, where you know the really famous Days of Future Past cover where they have the wanted poster, and it shows this one's been captured, this one's deceased, this one's been captured, and all that.
I think so. Yeah.
Of all the characters that were on that poster, Mega Man was the one that was still at large, and they
Okay.
still didn't put him in the game.
Well, whatever. You don't have to. do everything you say you will do.
No, of course not. But still,
Yeah.
it's still dumb that lots of people were asking for that character, and they were just like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Here, we're gonna give you what was it? We're gonna give you like fucking Doctor Strange, which I mean, he wound up being a good character, but nobody.
Hey man, I like Doctor Strange. Like I like that character.
He wasn't a character that everybody was big on until they actually got their hands on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah, sometimes characters in fighting games, they develop followings just because they're so much fun to play, not because people are really anticipating them.
right,
Yeah,
and
I can't imagine many people anticipated Dormammu showing up in a game.
Yeah, and then
He was a pretty low-tier Marvel character until the movie.
Well, here's the thing: that guy, when he came out, I would say that Ultimate Marvel or Marvel 3 did a lot more for Dormammu than before the Doctor Strange movie came out, because Dormammu is like a top tier character in Marvel 3. So if you put that guy on a team with a good set of like other characters, you can wreck face across like an entire bracket, just murking people all day. So like a lot of people that play fighting games are like, oh, we're doing Doctor Strange, Dormammu is there, I'm in. So
all right.
Yeah, so he's developed a following.
Yeah, he's developed a following as a fighting game character, which eventually went into, the Doctor Strange thing. But
yeah. Well, now we've talked about Dormammu at length.
Yes, we have.
Dr. Mike, what have you been playing?
Well, what I'm waiting to play is Total War Warhammer 2, which comes out at the end of the month, because the first game was amazing last year, and I was actually just replaying that recently. But in the meantime, I've been playing Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, which was the old Wii game. I played it on the Wii when it first came out. I realized, I haven't played it in a while. I've been playing the Fire Emblem Heroes mobile game. It kind of got me in the kick to pull out the old stuff again, and it's actually much better than I even remembered.
It's definitely better than It's definitely better than Heroes, which isn't great.
That's the Musu one, isn't it?
Warriors is the Musu one.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Warriors.
Heroes is the mobile game, which is decent for a mobile game.
Yeah, I guess
that's
so.
not saying much.
Yeah.
It's free. It's a time killer.
Okay. Fair enough.
In more comparative terms, it's better than the Fates trilogy, which came out last year.
I haven't played that because I heard a lot of different things about it. Not all of them positive.
Yeah, it starts good, and then the story just goes to hell. Splitting into 3 games is not a good idea. The story can't rectify itself in any of the 3 games.
Yeah.
Echoes, which I actually just finished too, is a pretty good Fire Emblem game.
What's your favorite Fire Emblem?
Probably Radiant Dawn, actually. I haven't played all of them, but I think Radiant Dawn has the best story and the best overall gameplay.
And the 3DS one with the...
Awakening?
Awakening. How about that one?
Awakening's good. I'd have to replay it to give you a direct comparison since it's been a few years.
Because
it
I
would be
played
between
that one
Awakening and Radiant Dawn.
Yeah, I really liked Awakening. It was like a fantastic game. Like I spent a lot of time in that game.
And that's the big difference. Radiant Dawn, you don't have that map to wander around. It's very straightforward mission to mission. So actually, I'm only 12 or 15 hours in, but I'm like almost halfway through the game. Awakening, it's like 40, 50 hours to get through the game, depending on how many of those paralogs you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, games, a lot of these tactical RPGs and JRPGs can take forever to play through. I've passed the 115 hour mark in Persona 5, and I'm still not done with that game.
Well,
how is that possible? I finished that game in 90 hours, and I finished Fire Emblem Awakening in like 30. I don't know. I just may be skipping a lot of content, but I am not.
When I first did Awakening, I decided I was going to do it on hard mode, on classic. So whenever somebody died, I had to restart the mission, and there were a few missions I refused to let people die on.
Okay.
So you're going to slow play it.
Yeah, so this time around, I
don't
don't have casual mode as an option, so I just set it to easy. I'm just going to blitz it because I beat it before, and I only have a week until Total War comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Hey, Merve, when you will finish the goddamn game? Like, Persona 5 isn't like... It's not a game you should play 1-to-1. It shouldn't take you a year to play that game.
Well, in his
will.
defense, yeah. Well, actually, you don't have Near Automata to worry about now anymore because you finished that.
I
So
finished
there's
that
no excuse.
ages ago. I finished that really quick too.
Yeah, so what's up?
It's just the game that I slow play in the background while I'm taking care of other games. Like I have 3 other games on the go right now. I have Mario Rabbids, I got West of Loathing on PC, and also Binary Domain on PC.
I have a question that might be anathema to people who are really into JRPGs, but do those games need to always be over 100 hours long?
No.
They really don't.
No.
There's some good ones that are, 40, 50 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not really that long unless you do everything. And then if it's a really, really good RPG, you'll feel like doing everything. But if it's just like something where it's like, it's decent, then maybe not. Like the Disgaea games shouldn't take hundreds of hours to do, but for some reason, goddamn, they do.
Yeah, you always do that item world, and then you're in there for 50 hours. You got like a +1 bonus for 50 hours of work.
Yep, and I haven't finished a single one of them, even though I own the first 2.
I know, I finished this guy. Yeah. It's like you said, like if you want to blaze through the story, you can. It's like with open world games like The Witcher. You can like really get into it and be like, oh, I'm on my 200th hour. Or you can be like, oh yeah, I played it for 30 hours and I'm done.
Yeah, beat the main story.
Also, Persona games are just legendarily long.
Yeah, I wish they didn't do that. Oh god.
They're a little too long. I played Tales of Zestiria a couple years ago. That was 55 hours. Digimon Stories about 40 hours. So
Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I think, was all of 60, and that's doing most all of the side stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of Persona, I think you're going to run into Bastute RPGs like Fallout and The Witcher are going to be much longer than any JRPGs coming out right now.
Yeah, but that's if you do everything in those games, and especially for the recent Fallout, maybe it's not worth doing everything.
Yeah, I skipped most of the crafting bullshit because that was terrible.
I didn't even finish Fallout 4. I just kind of fucked around for 30 hours and I said, nah. But I wasn't interested in the main story.
Yeah.
Everything in that game was kind of boring to me. Like, I bought it.
The DLCs were better.
I might be talking about this again in our next segment.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's...
We should probably save some of that.
Speaking of our next segment.
Yeah, this is a nice segue.
Yeah. BannerThief just
Up on the segue.
Just segue noise.
Yes. Hey, you guessed it. Nice. I'm pretty good at that. Okay, let's do it.
We're gonna play Video Game Doctor now. So I always don't like saying the phrase "play doctor" because that means something else. But anyway, let's gloss over that. And
I've actually heard it called Armchair CEO, but okay.
Armchair CEO. Let's do that.
My name is Armchair CEO.
We're gonna be backseat developers. That's what we're gonna be today. So the inspiration for this segment is that there are a lot of games that have come out over the years where they're not just totally awful, they're not irredeemable trash, but they are bad to mediocre. And it's often because of sometimes games are bad to mediocre because they're riddled with bugs, but often it's because they made some what we consider poor choices in development that led to the game not being as good as it could have been. So poor mechanical choices, poor story choices, maybe they used the wrong art style. There are lots of things they could have done better. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a bunch of games that we think we could fix if we were allowed to be backseat developers. So the first game that I wanted to bring up, because this is the game that was actually the inspiration for this segment, Yooka-Laylee. Did any of you guys play Yooka-Laylee?
I honestly forgot that game existed, which is sad.
Yeah, it's a sad fate for what was supposed to be the return of the rare style collectathon platformer. I know a lot of people don't like that style of game very much, and that's fair. But was not well received when it came out.
I think you're like the only defender of it I heard.
I'm not even much of a defender. I think it has some good parts.
I would say
overall it's a disappointment.
I think you're the only person that I know that has played this game to completion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's unfortunate because there are some good bits of it, but it does have a lot of problems. So one of the big problems with this game is the level design. So have you guys played Mario 64?
Yes.
Is this rhetorical?
Who would be like, I don't want to play that trash?
I actually haven't played Mario 64.
That's
there
fine.
You go.
But okay,
We found one.
Burn him. No, let's not do that. We'll see. I'll
did Karma's murder.
Podcast. Yeah,
You know,
murder
I was
is safe at the end of the podcast.
I was too busy playing the popular console that year.
Oh, that's
snap.
I'm
PlayStation burn.
Holy shit.
I'm gonna agree with Ninja.
In any case, you guys played Mario 64. One of the interesting things about Mario 64 is when you play it and you look at the levels, with the exception of a couple of them, you know exactly where you need to go when you enter the level.
Yeah.
Right? The landscape is built in a way that directs the player sort of around the map to the various challenges that you need to complete.
It's smart.
Yeah, it's smart level design. Even, I know people don't like this game very much, but DK64 does this as well. In that game, the levels...
I think, sorry, I'm going to cut in, but I'd say that all Nintendo games actually are really good at this, like, including the last Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, it always, like, gets you... The map, geometry of the map is always like, you have to go here, and you exactly know where everything is.
The map
Miyamoto's always made a point of his level designs and teaching the players as they go. It's always been a big philosophy of his since the NES days.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that was in Banjo-Kazooie, though.
Well, actually, I heard somebody talk about this in comparison to Banjo-Kazooie, and one of the things that they mentioned was the placement for the items that you collect actually leads you to the paths because
that's
they're actually
exactly the point I was going to bring up. Right?
Yeah.
That DK64 and Banjo-Kazooie, they don't exactly do it with the landscape. They do it with collectibles.
Yeah.
If you follow this string of collectibles, it'll lead you to the challenge that will give you the next Jiggy or the next Golden Banana.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yooka-Laylee doesn't do that.
Right.
Yooka-Laylee, what it does is it has these collectibles, these, I think, quills or feathers, I forget what they're called, that you have to collect. But they're arranged sort of haphazardly on the map. Like there'll be a bunch of 3 there that don't lead to anything, or a bunch of 5 there that don't lead to anything. So you end up having to go collect the quills, and it's almost sort of separate from collecting what are called the pages, which are this game's version of stars or golden bananas, what have you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of have to go out of your way to collect the quills, and it's separate from collecting the pages. So there's that collectible level design. Also, the landscape doesn't lead you to where you need to go. So, and it becomes a problem because the areas of these maps are gigantic, right? So the areas of the different maps aren't very distinct from each other. So one part of the tropical volcano world looks exactly like every other part of the tropical volcano world. It's really hard to get around or know where you are because there's no like map that you can just bring up. Mm. So yeah, that was, to me, the big problem with Yooka-Laylee. And if I were to fix it, I wouldn't really mess with the mechanics. I would scrap some of the level design. And I would make the levels construct in such a way that the different areas of each level were distinct from each other. Yeah. And I'd rearrange the collectibles to lead people to the pages.
I really thought we moved on from this. Like, during the 90s and the aughts, when I played video games, I was always frustrated. Like, where am I supposed to go? Like, they constantly were like, I was constantly confused about what exactly is the objective and such. Like, a lot of action games, a lot of RPGs. It's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I should talk to everyone in RPGs. Maybe I should sleep, or I don't know. And then action games are like trying to like all kinds of things to just like move on from where I'm at, even like trying to bug through the through the walls and trying to figure shit out, because it's like I thought Valve figured this shit out perfectly. With even if their level design is not great, maybe you should just put a light somewhere, like reflector on some kind of objective, and hey, you should go there. And there's simple solutions to these problems, and it's weird that we're still doing this.
It's strange that there are a lot. Yeah, you're right. It's strange that there are a lot of games that are bad at telling you what to do, and you think this is a solved problem, and you can go the other way and just constantly sort of funnel players down a path and make them feel like they have no liberty.
Yeah,
but
I think it's a difference between smart level design and a big arrow that's just pointing somewhere.
I actually do recognize that part of the problem is there's this pushback on tutorialism in video games, and being told, hey, you need to go here, from not really half or most of the people that play, but enough to where that gets in the heads of developers. Mm-hmm. And I think when I heard that they were trying to make when they were making Yooka-Laylee, they were trying to go back to that classic aspect of Banjo-Kazooie, where you weren't necessarily told exactly how to get to where you need to go. You were told what your destination was, but you had to still go and explore and find it. And that's for a certain caliber of player, and I understand that in some instances, in some games, I would rather have that than have Navi go, hey, listen, and try to pull my ear in a certain direction. Right. But there's some people that want to have a direct piece of information that says, hey, here's your objective, go directly here, or you can go to the side if you like, but still, here's this line that tells you go here.
So I think it doesn't have to be a direct objective. I think there's a middle ground. We going to design everything to just kind of instinctively, you will know more or less where it leads you, even though it doesn't exactly spell it out, But I hate those big arrows in Fallout games and Skyrim games and stupid stuff like that. I think it really doesn't allow you to explore everything. It just tells you where everything is.
And I think part of that is based on what type of game you're making. Because in Fallout, you want to walk around and find the areas. I mean, it's literally part of the mechanics of the game where you get experience when you find a new location. Yeah. So that's one of those games where it's okay, I'm just going to walk around, find the spot, have it show up on the map. And then now that I have it on the map, sure, let's go ahead and use it as a fast travel area. But I found it first. So that's one thing that type of level design works. But for some areas, say Yooka-Laylee, with the way they've done it, you need a little bit more help in some instances, because you're just walking around in circles, especially if everything looks samey and you can't really figure out any landmarks.
Yeah,
I think there's what was I trying to say? There's a sort of pull to making games as you're saying, tutorialize too much and maybe direct you too much where to go. But the old platformers were actually pretty good about sort of directing you where to go, or telling or making you want to go in a certain direction without explicitly telling you. Even the easiest thing they would do, DK64 would do this, is if it wanted you to go somewhere, it would pull out for a second to a mini cutscene, show you where you should go, and then give control back to you without explicitly telling you should go to that temple or you should go to that structure. And Yooka-Laylee just doesn't do that at all. So you're really confused about where you need to go and what you should be doing. There's a problem where if you give somebody too much freedom and no instructions, but tell them they have an objective to complete, they're not going to be able to fill in those blanks. You need to give some guidance.
This is a good social commentary, Merve, about the world.
Yes. So We're gonna do Merve's like philosophy of video games podcast next week.
Yes. That
It's
So
interesting.
my
for us to
philosophy
have
of video games podcast, I think this goes sort of coming through in how I think video games should be designed.
It's interesting for us to have this conversation just a week or so after that controversy around that one guy who couldn't play Cuphead to save his life.
I didn't
Oh,
care
was
about
this
that.
one of those video game journalists that decided to rate it a 0 because they
So-
couldn't actually get out the first stage?
So he released. I have to look this up, but a video game journalist released a video of him of basically saying 26 minutes in hell with Cuphead, and the video was about, no joke, 10 minutes of him failing to get across a ledge in the tutorial area because he was unable to read the directions which are written right above the character's head.
Didn't he put it out as sort of comedy? Like it was
He
intentionally
did,
bad playing?
and then he did because he was kind of making fun of himself, and then all the sorts of wrong people to be making conversation about that took it up and saying video game journalists can't play games.
But
Why do
they-
we trust them?
But the thing is, the reason why that happened is there are literally video game journalists that will rate your game really, really low because they don't know how to play it. And there's
yeah.
I
like,
mean, it has
especially
happened once or twice, but I don't
No,
think it's like a trend.
no, it is, especially with fighting games. There's
Oh,
a
fighting
lot of
games,
people
yeah.
that when
Okay.
they
I
go
mean-
and play fighting games, they will rate them lower than say someone who actually has some experience playing fighting games.
Okay, Ninja,
So-
but from another perspective, there also needs to be these people that are not experts at fighting games to tell people that are not good at fighting games and they maybe want to learn how user friendly it is for beginner players. You know,
Right,
If
and-
it's
and I'm-
like
And there has been some games where they have been user friendly, where they've had, they have actual legit tutorials in them, and they have actual legit things that allow like newer casual players to get in, and they were still rated like 1 to 2 points lower than what the actual regular ratings were. And it's a constant trend for at least those games, and I've seen it on some other games where they're a bit harder. Like even Dark Souls has that problem, where Dark Souls is a much harder game than usual, and you see certain people are rated this game's a 6 or a 7. Meanwhile, you'll have people that are known for playing those types of games that will rate them, and they'll go, okay, this is a 8 or a 9.
But
And-
maybe it is also that these people that are used to these kind of games are drawing more enjoyment from them, whereas the beginners or people that are just not used to them, like
I
get
mean,
around to playing them, and they're like, maybe not for me.
It could be, but the thing is, what I think needs to happen on that level is the fact that there needs to be multiple journalists
Mhm.
scoring a game, so that we get
It's
opinions.
like take
I
the
think we
Famitsu
should-
model.
I think
Huh?
we should just throw out the 10-point system. Like,
Well, that's what
I mean,
Gameological did
that
just
does-
for this reason.
That does
Mhm.
still does kind of sell the point when you have like something that says, okay, this is a rating of the game.
Mhm.
Because sometimes you want to look at it and be like, okay, I can see it compared to, like, just looking at that rating, you can go, okay, compared to XYZ game that was rated about like this, okay, I could see myself getting about this level of enjoyment out of this
Mhm.
game just by looking at that score. So I
Mhm.
still think the scores are valid. My thing is there needs to be like multiple scores. Like
Mhm.
say get 3 people, somebody who doesn't really play the game that much, somebody that maybe plays that genre casually, and maybe somebody that's more hardcore about that game. That way you
So-
whatever
I mean, isn't
fall
this sort of
into,
what this is what
find
Famitsu does? I think in Japan, right? They get 4 reviewers for each game.
okay.
And I mean, I think we sort of have this in the aggregate from reading different review outlets and aggregating them through Metacritic, right? So
Yeah.
there are going to be reviewers at a reviewer at one outlet who's really familiar with the game. Might be a reviewer at another outlet who's not super familiar with that genre.
Yeah.
And I think you get that spectrum because there are so many different video game sites out there.
Guys, what were we talking about?
We were talking about
Uh,
ukulele.
So we start first. We were trying to fix video games. Now we're trying to fix video game journalism.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just doctor all of it.
Yeah,
I say
we're,
take a
we're
chainsaw
we're
to
doctors
it.
of everything.
Yeah, we're gonna take a chainsaw to it and then put a machine gun on it
Oh no! I see where this is
Machine
going.
gun journalism.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
No! Let's get back to fixing games.
Weren't there some reviews of Nier Automata where it became clear that the reviewer had not seen any of the other endings?
There was one. I think it was in. Forget. I think it might have been in. It was in some newspaper.
Yeah, they
Where-
have a limited amount of time to play these games anyway, so he probably didn't have time to even get to another ending.
Who the hell's
Yeah, where they'd
trusting
only
a
play
video
through
game
Route A.
review in a newspaper? That's like the last place I would have video game review.
It might have been the Wall Street Journal. I forget. I'll dig it up if I can. But yeah, there are some reviewers who are just like, well, I played to the end of ending A, and to be fair, they didn't like what they'd played through ending A. So would their opinion have changed playing the other two routes?
Hard to say.
Probably
Hard-
not.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
because I didn't really like playing 9S compared to playing 2B, so I could see that not being a change. It could have. They might have
However,
liked 2B's gameplay better than 9S.
Yeah, exactly. I like
Or 9S is better than
2B's. Yeah, I like 2B's playthrough more than I like
Yeah.
9S.
Her
so.
and what is it?
A2.
A2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that kind of happens with Nier. Wasn't there? I think it was IGN who the reviewer gave it a 3 because he
Yeah.
said at a certain point he couldn't progress any further, and the game would. And then a lot of people in the review said, "You have screenshots of the game telling you what to do next, you idiot."
Yeah. And again, it's something that does happen more often than it should.
I believe that
I
was.
think video games.
Ben, I think that
should-
was Joystick's review of Nier. If I remember.
Oh, joysticks. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't blame game journalists. Like it's like human being playing a game, right? And then he plays it in like a bubble because he can't like just well, maybe he can consult a FAQ, but usually they're played before they come out, right? So there's no FAQ. So you're just playing in a bubble, and either the game spells out for you enough for you to like know what you're doing, or you get confused because of the game's it's the game's fault usually, and you get stuck, and then you have to rate the game, and you say like, well, it sucked for me because it didn't tell me what to do.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't really a Senua's Sacrifice Jim Sterling issue. But
Yeah.
So what
But-
exactly happened there? I didn't follow
Okay.
that whole controversy. I
Well,
know he couldn't beat part of the game, so he just gave up.
well,
something like
here's
that.
what happened. He was in an area where it's literally a giant dark pit,
Yeah.
and you have to actually light torches. And because of the fact that the game didn't lead him to one of the torches, he wound up in the dark pit, not being able to find out where he's supposed to go. So he wandered around for a while, and then eventually the game autosaved because he progressed, which it should never have done. And now he's stuck in a dark pit where he cannot find like the way back or the way back to the torches that he needs to light, and he got stuck. And that's a QA error that technically should have been found,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
one of the things that and granted I don't have experience in QA, but I do watch the Super Best Friends, where literally most of that crew have a background in QA.
Yeah, and one of the main guys started his own side project where he literally plays games he QA'd back when he was
Yeah.
a tester and talks about all the bugs he found.
Right. The bug report. But yeah, they talk about how even when it's a game that they've never tested, they'll go through the game and just start doing QA things. And one of the things they always say is, when you go into a game to QA it, the first thing you do is go for a fail. So if you have an objective that needs to be done, what you do is you literally don't do it and try to progress to the game. And if it lets you keep going without doing that objective, you file a bug report. And
Right.
that should have been something that was spotted from the beginning. I don't fault Jim for giving it a bad review because of that, because that's he rates his
It's a game-breaking bug.
he rates his games based on what it is now, not what it will be when they patch it. So he found a bug that absolutely positively should have been found before it got released. And I would say he was probably a bit harsh by giving it a 1. I would have said he probably should have split the difference, because he said it was at the time it was about a 7 for him. I would have said he should have given it a 3 or a 4. But I don't fault him for giving it a bad rating because he played through the game, wasn't given enough information, and then now he can't finish it. And he had to, and the thing was, because it was auto-saved, he had to go all the way back to a save from either, I can't remember if he had to start all over or if he had to go to a save that was like several hours previous to that. Because there's like the auto-save spot and then there's the manual save spot, I think. I can't remember how that game works. But he said he'd have to backtrack real far just to go back into the game to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, game-breaking bugs have always, like, they ruin my perception of a game whenever I run into one.
Yeah. But there's people saying, well, you don't have any right to rate it like that because they could fix it. It's like, that's not the point.
I mean, it's his own website. You can give it a negative 17 out of 10 if he wants.
Yeah, the point is his experience, and he can rate that as ever he wants to.
But I think he eventually backtracked a bit and gave it a closer rating to what he originally was going to give it. But I would have said, I was like, I'm not going to fault him for that rating.
Yeah, stand your ground, man.
People were sitting there saying, "Oh, he threw a hissy fit just because he messed up." I'm like, this isn't an instance of somebody that just doesn't know how to play that type of game. Where they're, like you said, when they were playing Nier, and you could see screenshots of them being told what to do. It's not that situation. It's literally, it's pretty vague as to what you need to do. You walk into a new area, you explore to try to find out what it is, and then you get auto-saved out of actually finding that solution. Yeah. Which, that's messed up.
Yeah. So, back to your video game doctoring.
Oh, God.
Yes. What are games you guys want to fix?
I'll go this time.
Sure. Yeah, what do you want to fix, Ninja?
Okay, so let's talk about KOF 14.
Let's talk
because besides that game looking like hot dog water, because it is the blandest fighting game I've ever seen, regardless of what you want to say about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, dear God, KOF 14 looks worse.
I think it's because that team didn't have any experience making 3D models, so they were like...
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. But I'm going to skip that. I'm going to forego that because, like I said before, I'm a lab rat. So I'm going to talk about the mechanics because at the end of the day, that game is bland. Like excessively bland. And for something that's supposed to be like a 3-on-3 team fighter, there should be a bit more to it. And I understand KOF is much simpler than something like, say, Marvel or like Dragon Ball Fighters or the new Atlas Persona / Guilty Gear / everything else we've ever made thrown into it.
Yeah, they threw Ruby in there for some reason.
Yeah, but one of the things that I really, really, really could not stand about KOF 14 is that auto combos were not an option. So usually if you played something like if you played any of the earlier, well, actually all of the Marvel vs. Capcom games, you might even be going all the way back to like X-Men versus Street Fighter. Usually when you select the character, you have an option of normal and then auto, where like certain things are done automatically for you and you get like some easier combos even though they don't do as much damage by just pressing one button. And for some reason, there is literally a combo for every single character where all you do is rapidly tap the light button and it goes from several regular hits into a super move. And it does still minimal damage, but every character has it and there's no option to turn it off. So for me, again, I'm a lab rat. I want to learn how to do legit combos. And sometimes the way to learn to do legit combos is to go ahead and string, your light kicks and your light punches together, which might mean me doing them fast. And if I do them fast, oh no, I got that auto combo every single time. And it's a pain in the ass because it's not an option. You can't turn it off. And then besides that, there's like, it could have been more interesting if they had brought back the striker mechanic that they used to have in like KOF 2000 or 98. I can't remember which one it was. But what they did then was something similar to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, where you would select your 3 main fighters, and then you would select the 4th one that for a certain amount of times you could call in to do like a hit. So that way they could maybe break up an attack from your opponent, or you could use them to extend a combo or something like that. Kind of similar to like calling in an assist from any of the Marvel games. And that would have broken up some of the monotony, because it's pretty much just a one-on-one fighting game. If you think about it, it's first to 3 rounds if you just go ahead and think of it like that, except you get a different character every time you lose one. But that would have probably helped with some of the mechanics. And then one of the other things that's kind of more of a nitpick from me is that the inputs are slow. So
that's bad for a fighting
so
game.
one of the things I was trying to do, because I went into one of the mission modes, and they teach you how to do super cancels. So you'll cancel from one super move into, like, say, the max super move, which is the one that uses like the 3 levels of superpower on your bar, and it's supposed to do more damage. Usually in any other fighting game, like any other fighting game I've ever played that has this type of a mechanic, you want to do those moves as quickly as possible, because that plays into the flow of how you actually play the game. There's kind of a rhythm where you go, you do all of your individual like regular attacks into your special attacks into your super attack, and then if you can cancel from that super to a higher end super or another super, you all do them in a specific rhythm where it's pretty quick how you do it. I had to find out playing this game that I had to be slow and deliberate when doing those super moves just to get the cancel to work. So I couldn't do them quickly, and I couldn't do does anybody know what buffering is?
Yeah, I do.
Sort of.
Okay.
For the listeners, please explain.
Okay. Well, basically what buffering is you do a move, and then that move, based on, like, say, where you have the controller at or what button you use, you're able to move the controls towards the next move. So the easy example is if you play Ryu in Street Fighter. He has a very specific combo that's almost in every single game, where if you press down and basically any attack button, well, probably not his hard punch, but if you press down in an attack button, you'll do like a low hit, but because of the fact that his fireball is down forward to forward and then a punch button, you can usually follow up that low hit into a fireball. So you can do down and his medium kick, and then from that down you can work right over to forward and then press punch, and that flows together to do a combo between those two moves. But you do it quickly. And then in this game it's like, no, I gotta slow down and deliberately hit every single point that I need to hit with the controller first before I can do that extra move. And it's like I literally have owned that game since it came out. I got it in a sale where it was buy 2 get 1 free, where I bought Final Fantasy 15, Watch Dogs 2, and that game. And I figured Watch Dogs 2 would be the free game because I didn't expect it to be good. Little did I know that was KOF 14. But I have not played that game since I got it. I was like, I can't stand this game. I went through the arcade mode once, and I was like, nah.
So to summarize, you'd fix it by speeding up how it responds to your inputs, and you'd fix it so that the auto combos don't trigger when you don't want them to.
Yeah,
you can turn them on and off. That would be the best solution, right?
Okay.
yeah. If you were, and it only has to be like a little switch in the character select, just like they do in any other type of game like this, because you would select your characters, and it would say auto or no. And you select either auto or no, and then you have the option to use those or not, but not make it a thing that's only on at all. I don't like it. I hate it.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense. So what else do you guys want to fix?
I want to fix Fallout 4.
All right, let's fix Fallout 4.
Let's go into that.
This might take the rest of the podcast.
Here, I have 2 big points with Fallout 4 that feed into each other. One, in Fallout 4, for anybody who's not aware of Fallout 4, Fallout 4 is a series that takes place in a post-apocalyptic America. Fallout 4 kind of breaks the tradition by introducing a character who was alive before the Great War, which was about 200 years ago in the timeline of the games.
How is the character alive for 200 years? Is it
he
a robot?
he was in a cryostasis against his will.
Cryostasis.
Against his will.
Hey, hold on. That was only a he for you. That was a she for me.
Oh, that's fair. It could be he or she. It could be either. It's fair enough.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
is it your spouse?
Yes.
yeah, it's you, your wife, and your son, which is important, are basically put into a cryostasis against your will by an evil capitalist corporation who's just experimenting on the people they're housing in their vaults.
I don't
And
think it's corporations, the government.
Vault
No, Vault-Tech is a corporation.
Oh no, you're right.
that's
But they're
contracted.
cooperating, with the government.
So anyway, 200 years later, you wake up. Your wife shot in the face, or your wife or your husband shot in the face, and the son is gone. And you said, "Man, this really sucks. I should find my son." So you immediately go out into the world. You walk around, and then apart from maybe 2 or 3 conversations I had in the game, your character at no point expresses any surprise at what the world has become in the 200 years since the apocalypse happened. The narrative feels so disconnected and incomplete because your character is an outsider but doesn't care about anything that's happening in the world. He never questions why roaches are 3 feet tall. He never questions why there are big green mutants.
Well, she's open-minded.
He never questions why they use
no.
caps as currency.
Actually, no. The problem with that part is one of the plot points that Banner mentioned.
Yeah. And the problem, that continues throughout the whole game, where your character is an outsider and he or she is supposed to be on this big mission to find their son, but they are constantly being distracted by keys dangling in their face. Oh, go here and find this thing. Go here and do this subquest. Go to this island for no reason, for no other reason that other than the player might want to do it, and not that it has anything to do with saving your son.
Yeah. Does the main character ever express grief that their spouse is dead?
Yeah, for a short bit.
About the first hour, honestly, not really.
Wouldn't that
she moves
really
on
affect
very
someone?
quickly.
It's literally at the very beginning of the game, and it's even optional. So
Yeah,
you don't necessarily have to do it.
You have to pick the dialogue options where your
Maybe
character
they
is mad or
hated
sad.
their spouse. Have you thought about that?
So you can roleplay somebody who sort of liked their spouse, or roleplay somebody who hated their spouse.
Fun-
And I
You
don't
can't-
think
you-
they don't even
but-
give you that option.
But you can't roleplay somebody that loved their spouse. Exactly.
Fun little side note. My alt character, it was a lady, and I wanted to make her look badass and post-apocalyptic, but you have to do the character selection when you're still in the supposedly good, clean pre-apocalypse.
Yeah.
So she was answering the door for the Vault-Tec salesman with a huge bloody face and bruises and scars everywhere.
So it looks like it's an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Looks
Lord.
awful. Like no wonder you don't care about your spouse dying, which is horrible.
Yeah, but as
God.
far I don't really want to give away this plot point. Well, it's not really that big because it happens in like the first
That
20
spoiler
minutes.
Fuck it, I'm never gonna play this
Spoiler
game.
alert, Fallout.
But the
Nobody cares.
as
as far as
anymore.
like the whole grief thing happens is as soon as you get out of the cryogenic freeze after like the 200-year mark, you have the option to go to the cryopod where your still dead spouse is still in there frozen, and open it up and then have some grief about it, and then you can take their wedding ring. That's
Yeah.
the extent of
Yeah.
the actual grieving process in this game.
Yeah, and then later on, spoiler alert for Fallout 4. It's a 2-year-old game, whatever. Spoiler alert. It turns out
I'm never fucking playing this game.
your son was actually taken by this institution called the Institute, and they're a big scientific institute trying to run the local
Really
wasteland
creatively
behind the scenes with crazy sci-fi
With
stuff.
Terminators.
Yes, and your son has risen to a position of leadership. And you can kind of have some conversation with them about, okay, why did you do this? What benefits does the institute have for the local world, and you can either choose to side with your son in the Institute, or you can side with one of 3 other factions, which are the Brotherhood of Steel, which are kind of like a big isolationist sci-fi
Militia.
faction that have been in all the other games previously, and they're kind of a big deal in the world. Or you could side with the Minutemen, which are a more local militia that are just trying to protect the folks of the wasteland and basically be the policemen. Or you could side with
the railroad.
With the railroad, which are kind of they're anti-Institute specifically because the Institute has been using AI as slaves basically, and they want to free the AI. The problem with this, which is an interesting problem for the game to have after its predecessor New Vegas handled this so well, that you have to choose one of the factions, and you can at no point are you able to convince the other factions to join you. You have to pick one. Even when it feels like the Minutemen and the Railroad should be natural allies, there is nothing your character can do to convince them. Even if I've done a dozen side quests to help the Minutemen, even if I've helped out the Railroad, and I'm ascended to being their god king in both factions, I have to choose one or the other in order for the end game to happen.
Listen, Banner, though, maybe the Minutemen are just android racists, so you can fight with that.
Well, I will tell you this: Preston Garvey would be one thing that needs to be eliminated.
Yeah, he needs to get going.
Oh, God, he is the worst part of that game.
Yeah, but the problem is that the end game, as a result, feels very unsatisfying because you are not really able to express your player agency. The game is forcing you basically to say, okay, you have these 4 buttons in front of you. You have to press one of them because this is Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also the fact that a lot of people expressed a lot of hatred for the game because it doesn't give you an option to say, you know what, fuck that kid. Because if this was Fallout New Vegas, that would be an option.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now
Fallout
it's
New Vegas
not.
handled all of this so much
Man,
better.
Fallout New Vegas was so good.
That's why Fallout
God.
4 is such a disappointment because it feels like they took the broad strokes of what people liked about New Vegas, like multiple factions and not necessarily a one-to-one good bad ratio in your karma. But then it decided, you know what? No, we can't have player agency here. You have to pick one or the other. We want to have you play as this outsider, but you can't at any point really express, because I guess they decided it would just be too hard to write that kind of character. But then at some point you have to ask, why did you make this kind of character if you're not going to write for it?
And
I've
the
seen
thing
plenty
is,
of time travel stories with that problem too, where characters just don't care that it's been 200 years since
the very first thing that should have happened when my character came up to the big city in the middle and was asked to buy stuff, the very first thing he should have said is, "What? What do you mean bottle caps or currency?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
You're telling me my $1,000 of pre-war money is worthless? What the fuck?"
And like the thing is, Bethesda has for some reason this whole ridiculousness when it comes to writing for Fallout games, because they didn't make Fallout New Vegas, which is why it's different.
It's well written.
That's
but the thing is, for some reason, the carrot on the stick is always family when they write a Fallout game. Because in Fallout 3, it was find your dad, and that was the main plot of that game. And now it's find your son, and it's like no one really wants to go through that again. Because when you had Fallout, where it was like, hey, figure out why you got shot in the head and left in a grave. That's a vague enough objective where you could go multiple places and find answers possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're not worried about, I need to find this exact person, even though there is technically an exact person to deal with on that.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole objective leads literally into several other objectives that eventually lead to the end game, where you have multiple different paths to get to the end game.
But if you have built up rep with multiple factions, you can, with some hardship, convince them to kind of lay aside their differences in pursuit of the main goal, which is making sure maybe either the Legion or the NCR don't take over the wasteland because you feel that the other one's better.
Plus, you could also tinker with all the guys that run the casinos in New Vegas. And get certain ones to do certain things and all that, or
That's
can wipe them all out.
One of my favorite parts of that game is just going around different casinos and playing mind games with them to convince them to destroy each other.
Yeah. So
also nobody. nobody gives a shit about their virtual son. Like, what kind of objective is that? Like,
Yeah, especially when he looks so crappy and fake.
Yeah,
He
they
looks
make you
the
care. Like,
fake Canadian American sniper.
Yeah, but I
mean,
didn't give a shit.
Even Fallout 3 had the problem where, like, everywhere you tried to go in the main storyline, it was, oh, sorry, Liam Neeson's in another castle.
Yeah.
It got old fast.
Yeah.
And then
And
finally you found his castle, and then he died immediately.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is somebody did a speed run where you can literally go from the vault, make a straight beeline, and find him. So,
That makes sense,
so
though.
that's possible.
That's interesting, though. That's the only interesting thing about the whole thing.
But the story still sucks. Because
that's true.
find your dad, and then once you find your dad, the game's pretty much over.
Yeah, but
because
it's
it all
even
ends
worse.
there.
It's even worse in 4 because
Yeah,
you
it
can't
is.
actually go and find.
Yeah,
your
you
son.
You don't have
won't
that
find him
freedom.
until you get to
Yeah.
the end of the game.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks so bad.
Yeah.
I hated it.
So
I mean,
the
granted,
main-
I played the hell out of that game because I like the mechanics on it.
Yeah, I still
mechanics
sunk
are
80
good.
hours into Fallout 4,
Yeah.
even though I have tons of bad things to say about it.
Yeah.
So the main
They
problem
just
you'd
make
say
games
is
like that.
narrative with that game.
Yeah.
I would also say that game also needed a couple passes in QA because god damn did I need that console.
It's Bethesda.
I mean, that's just the norm of Bethesda games
Yeah,
at this
it's-
point.
Yeah,
It's inescapable.
They don't have a
If-
QA department there.
I
Do you
would
think
doubt
Elder
that.
Scrolls 6 is going to revolve around family, or do you think they're still trying to keep that as open as possible? I'm just wondering.
Well,
at what
I haven't seen them do that in the Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah,
Those-
Elder Scrolls never had that.
That's usually a Fallout exclusive thing
Yeah.
that
But how-
Obsidian does.
But how
I mean, not
much you
Obsidian,
gonna bet that you're
that's-
gonna be a prisoner?
So is Fallout 5? You're going to be Fallout 5. You're going to be trying to find your mother, and it's going to be just right, the Goldilocks.
No, it'll be you're looking for your mother, and she'll
Sibling.
be played by Linda Hamilton, just so she can get kind of that Terminator feel. And you'll
Yeah.
still be fighting the Institute, so you'll have to deal with robots.
Well, are we writing fan fiction now?
And then at the end of the game, you
No,
meet
we're
your
writing
Fair
character.
Fallout
fighting fanfic.
At the end of the game, you meet
Okay.
your character from Fallout 4, and he asks you if you want to join the Avenger Initiative.
Yeah, and then it's all the main characters from the last 3 Fallout games.
Yeah.
I'd play Fallout Avengers. That'd be pretty rad. What else do we want to fix, guys?
So, I've got
okay,
a quick
go ahead,
one
go
because
ahead.
it's easy.
Okay, Otaku, go ahead.
I've been hate playing Valkyria Revolutions in between other games here.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's several things you can do to fix Valkyria Revolutions, the prequel to Valkyria Chronicles.
Make it a Chronicles game?
Yes. So
Wait,
there's-
hold on. It's a prequel to Valkyria Chronicles,
Yes.
Yes.
Sort of?
and it
It's
plays
like a
just like
side
Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah.
So here's what. There's a few problems with the story, namely that it doesn't actually match up to Valkyria Chronicles if you try and make sense of what the hell is going on, which doesn't make sense. It's supposed to take place like 100 years beforehand, but like all the tech is way beyond anything in Valkyria Chronicles. So you have story problems.
Mm-hmm.
The Star
Character
Wars prequel
motivations
problem.
don't make sense. But worst of all is the gameplay.
Oh,
you can
yay.
you can beat most of the gameplay by walking forward and spamming the attack button. Until you get to the bosses, in which case you will lose, because the bosses are broken as all get out.
Fantastic. That
So
sounds great.
as Merv noted, the fix is make it a damn Chronicles game. Because
That was
a good game.
Valkyria Chronicles' best part was its tactical RPG-ness, selecting the characters, running around, and having the whole intercepting fire thing. And that's all out the window in this game. This
Yeah.
game is all just straight action RPG. Not even a very good RPG at that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go away from the tactical route, more for the RPG route, you want to do something at least like Dragon Age, where you can command your party members around and have them like actually strategize, and positioning matters and stuff.
You kind of can. You can switch from a group party mode to a dual mode where it's 2 teams of 2 to controlling just yourself, but there's no reason to do it. Because like
you
if you
just
have
button mash to victory.
if you have your party members next to you and they walk into a spotlight, nothing happens. They will not set off landmines. They will not set off spotlights. They don't actually trigger anything. There is no reason not to have them next to you.
That doesn't sound great.
It's really not.
Yeah.
And it's one of the 3 games I bought my PS4 just for, and it's turned into a
Oh.
hate play just to get to the end of it.
Oh, that's
I'm
a
really
shame.
sad to hear that
Yeah.
because I've heard like nothing positive about that. game.
Yeah, neither have I. Like, but let's be honest. This franchise has been going downhill since the first one.
You know,
I
Valkyria
mean, they didn't even
Chronicles
bring the
2,
third one over here.
I will actually do an addendum to Valkyria Chronicles 2 could fit in this category.
Oh,
Because it's
God.
90% of a good game until you
No.
get to the grind.
No, it's not. It's not though. The story is ridiculously stupid and just
Okay,
annoying.
the story's weak, but if you didn't have the
It's not weak. It's
ridiculous
anime
plot-
bad.
Anime bad. Anime
That's a-
bad is regular good.
It's
Wow, that's
anime
a
levels
really-
of bad. It's bad in anime category, which is like whole new level of bad.
It's an anime 4, which makes it a regular 2.
Yeah. Which is really bad.
Like you
Yeah.
could
There's
have
some
good
bad
anime. Like there's good anime,
Actually
but
trying to
bad
remember the
anime is
story.
really bad.
Yeah.
I just remember it's something about the military academy and stuff going wrong. But the bigger thing that always caught me with that game was you have to grind to get class changes and weapons, and all the grinding is random if it's going to actually give you what you need. So you have to do some missions 10 times to get one thing, and it's just not worth doing to get to the end of the game.
That's so not fun.
No.
It's really not. I heard there's a patch that fixes it, though, which makes Valkyria 2 much better. And I hear 3 is a lot better, but I've never
Oh,
played
yeah.
the third one.
3 is better
Well, that's
than
because
2.
they never brought 3 over to the West,
Yeah.
I know.
and it's
Hey,
constant-
classic
sticky
Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something.
don't bring the games over that people want.
No.
Yeah.
Bring over Valkyria Revolutions instead.
That's a whole nother podcast conversation because I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, we could go on and on about like we were gonna do an episode one day about video game localization.
Yeah, or
and
like-
why stuff doesn't get brought over.
I don't even care about localization. Why do we still have region locking? That's the
Yeah,
dumbest
that-
thing ever. If you're not gonna bring it over here, take the money of somebody that wants to import it themselves.
Hey man, I agree with you. Living in Europe, I would actually very much prefer everything to be region free.
Yeah,
Sometimes they want to translate Atlas game, especially Atlas games,
Yeah.
to like 5 languages, and they say, "Oh, you can't play it for like 2 years because we
Right.
have to translate this."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, I don't give a shit. I want to play it in English."
yeah, and there's
No.
some places where they just won't because they're like, well, the story's too weird for the West, so we're just gonna go ahead and leave it in Japan. And it's like, no, I want to play that. Let me play it without having to modify my system just to be able to
If-
get it to work.
I think that's one thing that we've sort of learned this year, though, is that people are going to play Japanese games if they're
Yeah.
good games.
Yeah.
Like
Look,
Nier
if the
Automata,
US
Nioh, Persona 5, they're all hits.
Yeah.
in the
If the
West.
U.S. can sell Tokyo Mirage sessions, there's no game too weird for the U.S.
Oh, fucking Yakuza.
No, this is a huge
Yeah.
problem with hentai VNs. Like, god damn it.
Oh, God damn it.
Of course, Banner would go there.
Man, come
This is a
on.
huge
That's why
problem.
you have this.
Hey,
that's
Humble
why-
recently did like a honey
It was
Humble
Hunie
Bundle or
Pop,
whatever.
like 3 of the Sakura games.
Did
Yeah,
it
it's
have-
a little embarrassing.
Did it have Ultra Despair Girls in there too?
Should
Did
have.
not, because that's an NIS America game. I
How-
recently
did they
finished
have
Ultra Despair
Galgun?
Girls.
No,
Oh
it
god,
didn't have
there is a
Galgun.
segment of that game that is just so wrong on every level.
Really? You don't say.
Yeah,
No,
I'm not
I
gonna just-
see no problems with it.
Which one's
Is
the
it
one
worse
about
than
the girls in
Hatoful
jail?
Boyfriend?
Pardon me?
The Hatoful Boyfriend is great. I don't know what you're
Hatoful
talking
Boyfriend
about.
is wonderful on every level.
Yeah.
Because
Yes, but it's also
kinda-
bizarre
kinda
shit.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
bizarre. Yes.
I mean, it
completely
became a hit because it's bizarre as shit.
It's
Yeah.
no Katawa Shoujo, that's for sure.
I
Or
actually played that
Prisoner
as well.
Girls or whatever that game is.
Katawa Shoujo was actually developed, I believe, mostly in the West.
Yeah.
Actually,
Ah.
yeah, it was developed by a bunch of 4chaners who got together.
Yes, it
Oh
was.
God, fucking.
Which
damn
you
it.
think, like, it sounds like it's gonna be the worst thing in the world, right?
It's surprisingly
an
good. I'm
erotic
not even
visual novel
joking.
developed by 4chaners. and
It's
ends up
still
being-
kind of bad.
Yeah, because it's
not
4chan.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
it's
ends up
it's
being one of
better
the
than
most
it should be.
sensitive depictions
It's-
of disability in
I
video
guess
games.
it's still kind of. I don't know.
Should
Like you like vulnerable girls, I guess. You like that's weird. Like I don't know. It's like skeevy in a way.
It's no
I don't know, I didn't
tsundere
find it skeevy.
simulator.
Yeah.
Most sensitive depiction of
The Yandere
disability in a
simulator,
video
yeah.
games are low bar when there's like 3 options to choose from.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
Luca's mom and Chrono Trigger, and what else?
You got
Yeah.
Visas Mar from Coder 2.
And you can you
Wait,
can
hold on.
save
Luca's mom doesn't even really
Yeah.
count because she
because you
gets
can save
legs
him.
back if you do
Yeah.
it.
That's kind
Only
of
after you change the timeline. So you have her before
But
the
still,
timeline change.
even then, she doesn't do anything but sit there in her wheelchair or whatever and complain. So
I mean, there's also Joker from Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, that one
Yeah.
was a good one. That
Yeah.
one was a good one.
And who's the guy in the wheelchair from GTA 5? Forget his name.
I don't remember.
The guy who
Luis
sends you
Leon?
on heists. I can't remember his name.
there's actually the one character from from Watch Dogs 2 that's on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's-
maybe video games are better than we thought.
Hmm.
They're
this whole
getting
thing.
better. They're still not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
getting there. They're getting.
Yeah.
All right, so Science, you haven't fixed a game yet. What do you want to
Yeah.
fix?
Have you guys heard about a game called Sunless Sea?
I've heard
Yeah,
of
I've
it,
heard
but I
of
don't know
Sea.
what it is.
that game's kind of cool.
Yeah, the game's kind of cool, but it has a giant one big problem. So I'm going to describe a game, if any, because it's not as mainstream as maybe other games here. So it's a game that's like kind of like a choose your own adventure style. Like you pick but it's you're a pirate, let's say. Not exactly a pirate. You can choose to be a pirate, but it's a sea adventure. So you're going through from port to port, and you're like dealing with people, like giving them stuff for money and like for information for money, and you're like when you arrive at an island, you kind of can embark on an adventure, and you like talk to people, and it's literally a choose your own adventure style kind of thing at that point, because you're like choosing actions that you're gonna take, and they have certain consequences, and sometimes you have to use points that you gained in other areas of the game that you use on other islands that you or affiliations that allow you to do something. So it's kind of an interesting RPG, kind of like a story-based game.
All right.
And this is this whole design is directly opposite to another design that's in this game that's like that's shit. Guys, do you like roguelikes maybe?
No, I've never liked roguelikes.
No,
I've only played like one.
one. Like
They're
you know
they're
what?
okay, but not
Yeah.
not for extended period of time.
Yeah, but you know what's good about roguelikes? Each time you play, it's kind of a different thing, because
Yeah.
you kind of play a different way. You can. This is a fucking text-based game. Each time you fucking play, you have to read the same fucking thing, and you're skipping like large parts of text because you've read them like 4 times already. Who thought this was a good idea? The game is exceptionally difficult. Like, there are battles that you kind of get into, skirmishes on the sea, right? And they're not especially difficult, but sometimes you go into an area that's too like over leveled, or you also have fuel in your ship, and sometimes if you have you're not you don't plan your journey too well, you can die because you don't have fuel on the sea. And it's not balanced especially well, but it would have been good if the difficulty level wasn't so high. But it's like straight up in like at the beginning you like die 2, 3, 4 times, and then another couple of hours you die 2 times, maybe 3, and then maybe the more you play the less you'll die. Great, but this isn't the game to do that. Like, you could have made a simpler, like easier game that's like far more enjoyable, because the meat of this game is going through this map. That's a large map. This is an open world game that you can like travel from island to island and gather stories, and that all of the stories are exceptionally well written. It's like Obsidian levels of stories we have here. It's very imaginative. It's like a weird world where you're trapped in a sea underneath the world. You're like in a giant cave, and they're like weird Cthulhu mythos and like science fiction stuff, and it's all it's a very crazy steampunky kind of world, and all of the stories are fantastic. The only problem is that I'm doing them like 4 times in a row, and it really gets boring. And one time I played this game for like 20 hours, and I had enough after that, because I died like 20 hours in, and I was like, fuck no, I ain't doing the whole beginning part again, because at the beginning your ship isn't that much equipped in fuel to go to the far sides of the map, so you have to explore these beginner islands, and it's like the same stories in those islands over and over again. It's such a bad choice to go with the trend. And, everybody likes roguelikes now. Okay, let's make it a roguelike. Like, who thought this was a good idea?
I always disliked roguelikes.
Yeah, so you'd suggest either sort of less repetition to begin with, or
just
making the
eliminating
game a lot easier?
No, eliminating the roguelike thing.
Eliminate the roguelike structure entirely.
Yes, because they had this legacy thing. When your character dies, some things just pass on to you do your next character. If you buy there's certain things you have to buy in order to activate that, so it's already kind of complicated. Like, get that shit out of there. It doesn't do anything. It's not pleasurable in any way. It's not fun.
I think the only time I enjoyed that type of mechanic was in what was it? The game that was on iOS, Infinity Blade.
Oh,
That's the only game that I like that in, because it was a real quick play. And you were going to die anyway, because it did get progressively harder. Yeah. So come back as another guy with basically the same skills and the same equipment as what you had when you died. Yeah. And it made sense. But in a lot of these, it's just like it's not fun after like an hour.
I liked it in Rogue Legacy, because each time you went on an adventure, even if you sucked, you got even a quarter of a little bit of a percent better, like a little bit better. Each time you went, even if you sucked, you got a little better. Your character, like, it leveled up. Yeah. So you knew you're gonna get good at the game, because if not by skill, by just sheer force, you're going to get better.
By attrition.
Yeah, exactly. And Binding of Isaac were also pretty good roguelike, because it's a very arcadey game that you just kind of fuck around with, and you can get good, and you collect these items, but it's not about that. It's not about like this constant level system. It's like you're gonna get good at the game, you're gonna beat it or not, but it doesn't matter, because the game is like 15 minutes, half an hour long.
That's like Spelunky's advantage, was it's fast.
Exactly.
You could just run, you don't really need to do anything with it.
Yeah, but not text-based games, guys. Who thought it was a good idea? Like, I don't know what they even thought. Like, it boggles the mind.
It came out at a time when roguelikes were super popular. Yeah. So this is what happens if you chase trends sort of mindlessly.
Exactly. That's the main problem of this game. They are making a sequel. I pray to God that they've listened to the vast majority of reviewers and players, and they're gonna ease up on this shit, because it's frustrating when there's so much of good stuff in there. Like, I haven't experienced half of the game because I was so frustrated with it. This is a text-based game, I should have been able to just like go on an adventure and beat it. Like, it's crazy and criminal.
It would be like playing a BioWare game and halfway through dying and having game. No, you can't reload your save. You have to start over.
Exactly. Like, come on. Okay, so that's
every shepherd is the next shepherd's like daughter.
Wasn't there somebody who wanted to make a game where when you died, it literally erased your save?
Kojima. I think Kojima wanted.
Yeah, I think that was. Well,
Kojima. They've got that from Steel Battalion. The old
that's right. If your pilot died, you actually lost your entire save.
Yeah, if you didn't eject them, it wiped your save file.
Yeah. But that's
friggin' Kojima, man.
It really bums me out, because that's the only bad part about this game, and it's a big flaw. but the rest of the game is very much fun. Like when you're exploring, when you're talking to these characters, when you're acquiring info that can be traded for other info, and like you get into these weird occult things that and cannibalism and like supernatural events. Like it's a very, very fun. But then you die and you say fuck it and you uninstall the game. So
I have such problems with games that introduce both RNG and an inability to go back and try to fix shit, because the XCOM 2 was about the limit of what I can tolerate in terms of RNG. Mm-hmm. And the idea, and I don't understand playing Iron Man mode in that game, because sometimes that game just fucks you.
Yeah, it's annoying, and yeah, but you know, RNG. It can be really, it can be like you think that by applying good tactics you can like beat the RNG factor, right? Like, oh, I'm good enough tactically for RNG not to matter so much, right? But it's still
sometimes RNG's just gonna fuck you. You end up with the tail of distribution.
Yeah. I've played enough Fire Emblem games to see how many 1% misses can happen and 1% enemy criticals can happen. You get screwed at the times.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, and of course you as a player like see the critical hits of enemies more than you see your critical hits, and you see more of your critical misses than your enemy's critical misses. So it's always, I think the game always have to be like kind of nudging the luck in your direction. I think like it's kind of should be programmed in a way that you kind of get a little bit more of the lucky shots than your enemy, because, well, as unfair as that sounds for the computer player, you are playing the game, not them. So, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes there's some games where the probability they show you is not actually the probability working under the hood.
Yeah, XCOM actually does that. Someone actually I think maybe even a dev came out and said the probabilities are fudged a little bit, and the game actually does help you more than it may seem, because sometimes it actually will fudge things in your favor if you've been on a real bad run, and that changes depending on the difficulty. But like I said, I tolerate in that game because the game still feels fair if I'm playing on a reasonable difficulty, and I rarely feel like the game just screwed with me.
Yeah, I think I heard with XCOM and maybe with Fire Emblem 2, where like if you miss a lot in a row, it starts shifting the percentage into your favor, whereas if the enemy misses a lot, it shifts into their favor too. They've got
interesting. That's an interesting thing. Like they're doing.
They're willing to tear you down if you get too good.
Yeah. Okay, well that's it. That's what I would change. It's a game that I really liked and would have loved. So. Unfortunately, you know, sometimes that one flaw makes you kind of hate the game that you would otherwise love.
Yeah, I think that was a really good example of a kind of game that if we changed an element, we could pretty much fix it entirely. Because that's what we do here at the podcast. We fix things.
Is that what we do?
I mean, we also break a lot of shit.
Yeah, we murder people. I think we also murder people, from what I've heard.
Oh, yeah. We saved all the murder for the end.
Yeah, we got 3 contracts to fill.
Well,
who were we supposed to kill?
We know somebody who didn't play Mario 64. I think he's volunteering.
Oh, yeah, Ninjaneer. Sorry, we have to kill you.
I already stabbed Banner, so I think I jumped the gun here.
Ouch. Banner's like, ooh, that felt good. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up before we call this podcast to a close?
I actually do have another one. Because it wouldn't be me being on the Avocado Games cast without me shitting on David Cage.
Let's shit on David Cage for the next 5 minutes.
Let's talk a bit about Indigo Prophecy, which actually starts off as a pretty good game in that whole first sequence. Because that's the sequence that everybody played in demos, and everybody was like, oh shit, this is crazy. And, you know, they got to see the whole, you know, your character kills a guy without your control, and now you have to clean it up. You have to hide all the evidence, and then you got to do it all before the cops come in and you get caught. So that's a good start to the game. And then the game goes to shit.
Which game we were talking about?
Well,
Indigo
I think
Prof.
for you,
It's Fahrenheit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called Fahrenheit.
Yeah, Fahrenheit. Sorry, I forgot everybody didn't get it as Indigo Prophecy. But
How come Europeans got it as Fahrenheit? They don't even use Fahrenheit.
because it was Fahrenheit 9/11.
snap, Celsius.
Well, they invented Fahrenheit, so
Yeah.
But basically, that whole game is a complete clusterfuck, and most of it has to do with Cage's very stupid storytelling because
Yeah,
it's always stupid. It's never not stupid.
Let me interject here that I really do think that David Cage came up with that first scene, and they designed it, and they said this is really cool,
Yeah,
and then they fucked the rest of the game up.
yeah, because David Cage's story writing is awful.
Yeah, but if that game was exactly like that first sequence, like a number of the sequences when it's like a logic puzzle.
Yeah.
Like from multiple perspectives, it would have been awesome, but then they just kind of screw it.
The main thing is, let's get rid of the whole alien bullshit because that was completely unnecessary. I don't even know why aliens were even involved. And
Yeah.
One of the factions in that game is the internet literally became sentient and manifested an avatar in the real world in order to mess with the player.
Part.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that
what
part.
the fuck?
Yeah. There was a big
because
fight between the
I'm
internet
glad I
and
stopped playing this game.
But you have like in the Illuminati, you have space aliens, and then you have the internet, which I'm just like, that's just stupid. They could have just gone with the one faction, which was
What are you
basically
talking about? The Illuminati versus the internet versus aliens? That's
And
No.
the Illuminati,
That started to sound like
also-
Divine
best worst
Cybermancy.
thing I've ever heard.
It's
I
terrible.
played that game.
The
but-
Illuminati was more than enough because they had mysticism,
Yeah.
which they used to get your character
the
to kill
Illuminati
someone.
had
Very beginning
Aztec
of the game.
mysticism on their
Yeah.
side.
So how would you fix this?
Okay, well, first of all, like I said, get rid of anything but the Illuminati as the main villains because you can work with just that. Second of all, fuck the quick time events.
Oh my
Quick
god.
time events have to go.
Hey, but then
because-
we wouldn't get these giant beetles that were attacking you in the office.
The giant beetles weren't necessary either.
That was such a fucking
Why
long
are you
sequence.
Now
I don't-
you're just talking crazy.
I don't need to have a giant fight with my entire apartment. That is unnecessary.
I kind of do.
But
These
the
are
quick time-
awesome ideas, though.
the-
These are kind of stupid, awesome ideas.
yeah, the quick time
But-
events were terrible. They need to find another mechanic
Yeah.
in
Or
order to
make the quick time event sequences less ridiculous instead of making it like a friggin' rhythm game.
Yeah,
you have to
maybe.
press like
that's
sequences of
that's
16
something that they
buttons.
could do.
I
'Cause
think there
some
was
of
a
it's just-
Rhythm 6 game in that game.
Oh yeah, there are sex quick time events.
Yeah.
in there,
Yeah.
too.
No, 6 quick time events. Yeah, you
But
have to
the-
move the analog stick in a
Yeah.
rhythm.
But the thing
What
is,
happens if you fuck
would
up
do,
a quick time event in the sex scene?
Yeah, but you would do the quick time events for really, really stupid shit.
Yeah,
And it's like, there's no reason for me to hit like 18 buttons to answer a question.
Man,
and-
David Cage is a perv. In all of his games, there's like a nude scene or a sex scene.
Yeah, there is. We won't
Yeah,
talk
he
about.
gave Ellen Page nipples.
We won't
What-
talk about Beyond.
There is
People.
a forced sex scene in Indigo Prophecy in which one of the participants is a zombie.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But we won't talk
Oh,
about
now I
Beyond
wanna play the
Two
rest of the
Souls and
game.
David Cage's entire scrapbook of Ellen Page from the age of 6 up until skip that. But
All right, yeah.
yeah,
think
but
we got-
what else
gotta
was it
change
that
direction
I
here.
had for that? Hold on, let me bring up my notes. So get rid of the fucking quick time.
get rid of David Cage, maybe.
Oh yeah, that was a stretch goal. Don't let David Cage make it. As well as get better writers, which would also go in with the don't let David Cage make it. That's a stretch goal because if somebody else had actually written that, like if David Cage had written that original scene and said, okay, this is the tone of the game, and he had gotten competent writers to finish the rest of it, that could have been a good game where you could have had, you're playing as one character that's trying to figure out who caused this whole issue while trying to stay a step ahead of the cops. And I'm not sure if that works if you play the cops, because that's one of the things in the game is that you play both sides. And it's kind of weird that you're like, well, I'm going to hide this evidence. And then you can go ahead and take one of the other cops and be like, oh, hey, I found this evidence that I put there. So it might be good to just play as one side and then try to stay one step ahead of when the cops are around, and then maybe there's an option in New Game Plus where you play the other way, but not make it both sides are part of the story, because it kind of defeats the challenge. But I think if it was like, okay, I need to stay away from the cops, stay a step ahead of the cops without getting caught, but find out who's causing this shit because they're fucking with my life, would have been a much better game. And then get rid of the Matrix Kung Fu scenes, because that was dumb.
Oh yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, so I think we've got a blueprint for, for fixing Fahrenheit/Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah.
Anything else
Just
we
in
guys?
time.
Detroit,
just in
Become
time.
Human, 2018, and everyone's looking forward to it.
No, they're
Oh
not.
yeah, that
They-
game.
There are literally nothing but YouTube Let's Players playing to buy that game.
Yeah, there are. I love that there were two different interviews with David Cage posted on the same day on different sites. In one of them, he says this game is really political. It's trying to say something about the modern world. And the other video, he's quoted as saying, "I don't want this game to be political."
Yeah, it's just about robots or just about androids or whatever.
Or maybe it's about class. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll never know until we.
Have you
play
guys
it.
seen that meme on the internet, which is like David Cage saying, "Can a robot learn to be human?" And then Yoko Taro's like, "Can a human?" And David Cage is like, "What?" And then Yoko Taro's like, "Can a human learn to be human?" And David Cage is like, "I don't get it."
That sounds about how David Cage would take that conversation.
Looks like they're going to take none of your advice, and for Detroit Become Human, it's going to add in speech checks.
Yay! Because that's what we asked for.
Everyone
Not a good
loves.
game.
Everyone loves the pheromone minigame in Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Hey, I actually do like that.
Actually, I do like that.
But that's because Deus Ex Human Revolution knows how to make conversations intriguing.
Yeah.
And
Right?
really, the pheromone check part of it is kind of pretty small. It's more just you're doing a conversation through them.
And it doesn't always trigger either.
Right. And it's something that in some of the later conversation battles, if you trigger it on purpose, they get mad at you. They're like, "I know you're trying to use your augs against me."
I do like that one moment where he says one word and then your pilot says, "Come on, I know you have that pheromone stuff. But come on, did you really just try to use that on me? Come on,
Yeah.
pilot."
It's a pretty great scene. So I think we've fixed a bunch of video games today. Now, before we go, I'd just like to say, if you'd like to keep up to date with the podcast, we actually have a website.
We do.
That's right. We got a website.
On the
Avocado
internet?
Gamescast. Yeah,
No, I'm actually storing it on my
avocadogamescast.wordpress.com.
server.
Wow, we are straight balling right now.
I know.
We're
It's pretty
rolling
amazing.
in that money from
I
the
know.
Dollar Shave
Yeah, rolling in that money
Club.
from Dollar Shave Club.
Can't wait till we start that Patreon.
Hey,
Give me
Dollar
money,
Shave Club
Internet!
is our Patreon.
I need money.
We're really gonna get sued by Dollar Shave Club one of these days.
They won't
Anyway,
care.
on our-
Let me tell you about
free
MailChimp.
publicity for them. Anyway, we
Mail
post
Kimp.
link
You mean
dumps
Mail
on our
Kimp.
website. We fact check what we say sometimes because we lie a lot by accident.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're not that bright. Sorry, guys. We're also on iTunes and Google Play Music. Just search for Avocado Gamescast if you want to subscribe to us, which you should because we're the best. We're the best podcast on the internet of all podcasts of all time.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yep.
Yeah,
and,
that's-
and a word from our sponsor, Detroit Become Human, coming in 2018.
And don't forget to go to CasperMattresses.com and use code AvocadoCast.
Yes.
Lucky Strike cigarettes.
Exactly.
Buy 'em.
Blue
They're toasted.
Apron. If you want Blue Apron, go to blueapron.com and please tell them to support us because you're very poor.
All right, guys. This has been fun. Thank you all for being on the podcast. And thank you, listeners, for listening to us blabber on about video games.
Yeah.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.